Lost in the Labyrinth, A Tale of Terror. Chapter 1. Into the Unknown. The sun was setting as young Tommy ventured into the abandoned labyrinth. His parents warned him not to wander into the maze, but his curiosity got the better of him. Tommy's small frame disappeared into the shadows of the towering hedges, and soon he found himself utterly lost. Chapter 2. A Strange Encounter. As the darkness enveloped the labyrinth, Tommy stumbled upon a clearing where eerie moonlight cast long shadows. Strange whispers echoed through the air, sending shivers down his spine. Suddenly he saw them, bizarre creatures with twisted limbs and glowing eyes. Despite his fear, Tommy realized they meant him no harm. Chapter 3. The Price of Help. The creatures guided Tommy through the maze, their eerie forms weaving through the labyrinth with ease. Yet with every step, Tommy felt a strange pull, as if something precious was slipping away. Ignoring the warning signs, he pressed on, desperate to find his way out. Chapter 4. The Haunting Truth. Hours passed, and exhaustion gripped Tommy's small frame. Just when he thought he couldn't go on, the creatures led him to the labyrinth's heart. There, amidst the overgrown foliage, lay a forgotten truth: the maze was cursed, and those who entered never truly left. Tommy's heart sank as he realized the grim reality of his situation. Chapter 5. Descent into Darkness. With each passing moment, Tommy felt himself changing, his once innocent gaze now tainted with shadows of the labyrinth's curse. The creatures, sensing his despair, offered him a choice: remain lost in the maze forever, or embrace the darkness that lurked within. In a moment of desperation, Tommy made his decision, sealing his fate with a pact of darkness. Chapter 6. A Never-Ending Nightmare. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, yet Tommy remained trapped within the labyrinth's twisted embrace. The creatures, now his only companions, whispered tales of forgotten souls who met similar fates. Alone and consumed by darkness, Tommy realized that escape was futile. He was lost in the labyrinth, forever condemned to wander its cursed halls. Chapter 7. Echoes of the Lost. As the years passed, Tommy's story became a cautionary tale, whispered among those who dared to venture near the labyrinth. Some claimed to hear his faint cries echoing through the maze, a chilling reminder of the fate that awaited those who dared to defy its mysteries. And so, the legend of the lost boy in the labyrinth lived on, a grim reminder of the horrors that lurked within its walls. Chapter 8. Into the Unknown. Epilogue. The labyrinth stood silent and still, its secrets buried beneath layers of tangled foliage. Yet deep within its depths, Tommy's presence lingered, a haunting reminder of the darkness that dwelled within. And as night fell once more, the maze whispered its eternal lament, a chilling chorus of the lost souls who wandered its cursed halls. And so, the tale of Tommy, the lost boy in the labyrinth, faded into legend, a cautionary tale for those who dared to venture into the unknown. For in the heart of darkness, there lies a truth far more terrifying than any nightmare: the truth that some mazes are meant to be lost in forever. Chapter 9. The Whispering Maze. Years passed, but the legend of Tommy and the labyrinth refused to fade. People spoke of strange occurrences near the maze, whispers in the night, shadows darting between the hedges, and the occasional glimpse of glowing eyes in the darkness. Superstition kept most away, but there were always those drawn by curiosity or folly. Chapter 10. The Curious Adventurers. Among those who dared to approach the labyrinth were a group of adventurous teenagers: Sarah, Jake, and Ben. Fueled by tales of treasure hidden within its depths, they set out to explore the maze, dismissing the warnings as mere superstition. Little did they know, they were about to uncover the labyrinth's darkest secret. Chapter 11. Into the Abyss. The teenagers entered the labyrinth with excitement, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness like beacons of hope. But as they delved deeper, the hedges seemed to shift and twist, leading them further from the safety of the outside world. Unease crept into their hearts as they realized the maze was alive, and it hungered for their souls. Chapter 12. A Familiar Presence. As they wandered deeper into the labyrinth, Sarah caught glimpses of something familiar: faint echoes of a child's laughter, whispers carried on the wind, and shadows that danced just out of sight. Her companions dismissed her fears as mere paranoia, But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Chapter 13. The Pact. Lost and disoriented, the teenagers stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight. There they encountered the same creatures that had once guided Tommy, their twisted forms looming ominously in the darkness. Sensing the fear in their hearts, the creatures offered them a choice: embrace the darkness and join them, or suffer the same fate as those who came before. Chapter 14. A Test of Courage. Sarah, Jake, and Ben stood at a crossroads, their hearts torn between fear and desperation. In the end, it was Sarah who made the decision she would not succumb to the darkness that lurked within the labyrinth. With newfound resolve, she faced the creatures head-on, determined to find a way out of the maze and escape its cursed embrace. Chapter 15. The Price of Freedom. With Sarah leading the way, the teenagers navigated the labyrinth's twisted halls, dodging traps and pitfalls at every turn. Yet, for every step they took towards freedom, the maze seemed to push them back, its malevolent presence growing stronger with each passing moment. It was a battle of wills, a test of courage against the darkness that threatened to consume them all. Chapter 16. A Narrow Escape. Just when all hope seemed lost, Sarah stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed within the maze's tangled depths. With newfound determination, she led her companions through the narrow corridor, their hearts pounding with anticipation. And as they emerged into the light of day, they realized they had escaped the labyrinth's grasp, but at what cost? Chapter 17. The Legacy lives on. As Sarah, Jake, and Ben emerged from the labyrinth, they knew their lives would never be the same. The horrors they witnessed within its walls would haunt them forever, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked within the human heart. And though they escaped with their lives intact, they knew that others would not be so fortunate, for the labyrinth hungered for souls, and its appetite was insatiable. Chapter 18. Into the Unknown Epilogue. The labyrinth stood silent and still, its secrets buried beneath layers of tangled foliage. Yet, deep within its depths, the echoes of lost souls lingered, a haunting reminder of the darkness that dwelled within. And as night fell once more, the maze whispered its eternal lament, a chilling chorus of the damned who wandered its cursed halls. And so, the legend of Tommy and the labyrinth lived on, a cautionary tale for those who dared to venture into the unknown. For in the heart of darkness, there lies a truth far more terrifying than any nightmare, the truth that some mazes are meant to be lost in forever. Chapter 19. The Labyrinth's Toll. Despite their harrowing escape, Sarah, Jake, and Ben found themselves haunted by the memories of their ordeal in the labyrinth. Nightmares plagued their sleep, visions of twisted creatures and endless corridors consuming their thoughts. They knew that they had narrowly avoided a fate worse than death, but the labyrinth's toll had already been taken on their souls. Chapter 20. The Unseen Influence. As days turned into weeks, Sarah noticed a subtle change in herself and her friends. They grew distant, their once vibrant personalities overshadowed by a lingering sense of unease. Strange occurrences became more frequent, objects moving on their own, whispers in the night, and the feeling of being watched when no one else was around. It was as if the labyrinth's darkness had seeped into their very beings, twisting their perceptions and warping their reality. Chapter 21. The Sinister Return. One fateful night, as Sarah lay awake in bed, she heard a familiar sound echoing through the darkness, the laughter of a child. At first, she dismissed it as a figment of her imagination, a remnant of the nightmares that plagued her sleep. But as the laughter grew louder, she knew that something sinister was at play. With trepidation in her heart, she rose from her bed and followed the sound, knowing that it would lead her back to the labyrinth. Chapter 22. Act Revisited. Sarah found herself standing once again at the entrance to the labyrinth, its dark corridors stretching out before her like a labyrinthine nightmare. With each step she took, the laughter grew louder, leading her deeper into the maze's cursed embrace. And there, in the heart of the labyrinth, she encountered the creatures once more, their twisted forms beckoning her to join them in eternal darkness. Chapter 23. A Choice Made. Haunted by the memories of her past ordeal, Sarah faced a choice: succumb to the darkness and embrace the labyrinth's curse, or fight against it with every ounce of her being. With tears in her eyes and fear in her heart, She made her decision. She would not let the labyrinth claim another soul. Not if she could help it. Chapter 24. A Battle of Wills. As Sarah stood firm against the creature's enticements, she felt a surge of power coursing through her veins. It was a power born of fear and desperation, but it was enough to push back against the darkness that threatened to consume her. With every ounce of strength she possessed, she fought against the creatures, determined to break free from their cursed grasp once and for all. Chapter 25. Redemption Found. In a blinding flash of light, Sarah's resolve shattered the darkness that had plagued the labyrinth for so long. The creatures recoiled in fear, their twisted forms dissipating into nothingness as the curse that bound them was broken. And as Sarah emerged from the labyrinth's depths, she knew that she had found redemption not only for herself, but for all those who had been lost to its cursed embrace. Chapter 26. The Labyrinth's End. With the curse lifted, the labyrinth stood silent, and still once more, its secrets buried beneath layers of tangled foliage. Sarah emerged into the light of day, her heart heavy with the weight of the ordeal she had endured. Yet, she knew that she had emerged stronger for it, her spirit unbroken by the darkness that had threatened to consume her. Chapter 27. Into the Light Epilogue. As Sarah walked away from the labyrinth, she knew that she would never forget the horrors she had witnessed within its walls. But she also knew that she had overcome them, emerging from the darkness stronger and more determined than ever before. And as she looked to the horizon, she knew that her journey was far from over, but whatever trials lay ahead, she would face them with courage and conviction, knowing that she had conquered the darkness that once held her captive. And so, the legend of Tommy and the labyrinth came to an end, its cursed halls forever silenced by the bravery of one young woman. For in the heart of darkness, there lies a truth far more powerful than any nightmare, the truth that light will always triumph over darkness, no matter how deep the shadows may grow.